Okay, so let's continue. So last week we discussed about the basic things of the HTML. Like we discussed how we can, what are the things that we need to consider when we are creating a web page, and what are the contents that can be included into a web page, right? And different websites, the categories, right? So today we are going to code, or like we are going to develop the web page using the markup language called hypertext markup language, which stands for HTML, right? So now HTML, first of all, you have to figure out, or like you have to take into your mind, HTML is not a programming language, right? Programming language, we always find an algorithm to do a particular, or to take some output, right? Like if you can remember, like the way we did the things on the first lesson with the Pascal, right? We had these algorithms, flow charts, right? And these techniques of giving the inputs and taking the outputs. Now, when it comes to the HTML, HTML is not a programming language. Instead of, we say it is a markup language. Markup language means you are given a certain set of building blocks, or like in the HTML case, the tags or the elements, and using those elements, you can build up a particular web page, right? So we have to use those elements in a way we want, according to the web page that we are going to create, right? So first of all, we should have some idea. Okay, this is the one. This is the web page that I'm going to create. So based on that, we are going to use these HTML tags, right? So to code the HTML, or to create the code which is built up by the HTML, we use any text editor, right? So you can use Notepad, you can use WordPad, you can use MS Word, and there are Notepad++, kind of any kind of text editor, right? So here we are going to use the Notepad as our text editor, and we have to save our text file, or the HTML code, with the extension of HTML, right? Basically, a particular text editor is saving on its own extension, right? Now, if you take a Notepad, it is going to save as with a TXT extension. If you take a Word document, it is going to save with the extension of docx, right? But be sure to save it with the extension of HTML. I'll show how to do that, right? And then only you will be able to see it as a web page, right? So once you save it as a .html file, that particular file will be opened by default from your browser, right? And if you want to edit, we can open it by using the Notepad, but generally it's going to open in your browser and will preview or retrieve what is the web page that you have created using that code, right? Okay, so let's take the Notepad, right? So it's the simple text editor that we can find, and there are many HTML page editors, or like the web page editors, like the Dreamweaver, the Composer, the one we are going to learn with this lesson, right? But first of all, we are going to learn the basics with the help of this Notepad, right? Okay, so as you can see now, this is a very empty Notepad, and I have not saved it yet, right? So before I save the things, I'll show you what are the main structure of a particular web page, right? So when we are going to type the HTML tags, there are some major tags which is essential to tag, essential to type, right? Which we call the HTML tag. And remember, people, now we are going to type a tag in between these angle brackets, right? And like almost like more than 95% of the tags, it contains a couple of tags, right? That means there is a starting tag and it has its end tag or a closing tag, right? And each and every tag, this couple contains the same name. The only difference of the starting tag and the ending tag is starting tag is just in between these angle brackets, and ending tag are in these angle brackets, but it starts with a backslash. So you have to use a backslash when you are typing the ending tag. So the very basic tag, or the very main tag that we type inside the HTML document is HTML itself, right? So this tag will define. Yes, Buddha.
You sharing the note?
Yes, I am sharing the screen. Can't you see that, Buddha?
Only can see the Adobe.
Oh my God, I think it's only sharing option has been wrong. Hold on, Buddha. I'm sorry. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay, right. Okay. Let me come again. Right. So, like I said, type the code inside the Notepad. We use these angle brackets, and each and every element has its starting tag and an ending tag, right? So both are written in between angle tags, right? So the angle brackets, and starting tag has a name, and the same name is going to stay in the ending tag, but there is a difference. You have to use a backslash, then you can type the name of its ending tag, but starting tag name and the ending tag name are going to be the same. So that means the basic tag or the main tag that we are using is the HTML, which defines the document as an HTML document. So it's the same name that we are using inside the start tag and the end tag, right? So, but the end tag has a backslash before its name, right? So this is the basic way that we are going to type a tag. Only because I type the tags, it doesn't going to show you anything as an output. Now I just have these two tags in my Notepad. So I'm going to save this. So I'm going to, I'm not, it doesn't matter whether you choose save or save as, that is for the first time, right? Then you have to choose a place. I'm going to choose the desktop, right? So in this desktop, and it's better I'm not choosing the desktop. Maybe I will need this for the next week as well. So I'm going to save it in the HTML folder. So when you're going to save this, this is the important part. Now, you can give the file name with the HTML extension, right? And before you give the HTML extension, it's better you choose the save as type as all files, not as text documents, right? So choose it as all files, the save as type. Then here, just type the name that you want, right? So I'm going to type my page. It's better you type without any spaces. That's a good practice, not a rule, right? So my page dot html, right? So if I show it to you with the magnifier, this is the way you are going to type it. And first you are using the save as type as all files. Then you are going to give my page.html, right? And be sure that you choose something or like you choose the place correctly, right? Then you can press the save button. Yeah, Seran, the encoding UTF-8 thing is like with this encoding, we can give the ability for a web page to show the Unicode fonts, like the Sinhala fonts and all these things, right? So if it goes with ANSI, it is not allowing us to, like it is allowing us to type the Sinhala fonts, but it is not showing it on the web page. But UTF-8 will allow us to go with the Sinhala fonts. Like by default, it is selected as a UTF-8 encoding, right? So with this, just save it. Now, before I save this, I'll show you my this HTML folder, right? So this is the place that I'm going to save the file. Still, I got just an image, which is a Sri Lankan map, right? So now I'm going to save this. So now it is saved, and you can see the name as mypage.html. Now, if you done the saving correct way, remember, you can see your name properly, mypage.html, that's all, not mypage.html.txt kind of things, right? If you save it properly, it's going to be mypage.html, right? And when you save this, on the location that you have saved it, can you see how it happens, how it is being saved? Now I have the Chrome browser as my default browser. So this is the way it shows in the browser icon. And if I double click on this particular web page, right, the place where I have saved it, it is getting open, and you can see the name is there, mypage.html, right? And nothing is shown over here, right? So you can see nothing on the web page. It's an empty one, right? So here comes my web page. And when I am typing with the web page and working with the web page, I recommend to have Notepad at one side and my output at the other side, right? My page කියන එක මගේ web page එක තමයි මෙතන පේන්න තියෙන්නේ. දකුණු අත පැත්තේ. So this is the source code that I'm typing. So if I do any changes to my source code, I have to save it. Then I need this refresh button, right? This is the refresh button in the Chrome browser, and for other browsers, it goes in the same way, maybe not in the same place, but it has a reload button. So once you reload or refresh it, it will apply the changes, right? Okay, so basically, so far what we have talked about is like we have to save the Notepad as an HTML document using .html extension. Then we must have this HTML starting tag and the HTML end tag to define this is an HTML document. And this HTML document, every HTML document, it is a good practice to have its main sections, right? So it has a section called head, right? So this head section has a closing tag as well. And people, there is no rule that you have to type the tags in all simples or in all capitals. The case does not matter here. You can use either the capitals or the simples or a mix. That doesn't matter, right? So now it is like, how would I say this? A properly formatted HTML document. A properly formatted HTML document is containing a section called head, right? As well as a section called body. Right? And both got, both got this these two sections, and both got closing tags as well, right? So head section the closing tag, body section, the closing tag. Now, head section, according to your syllabus, right? There are many things that we can do inside the head section, but according to your syllabus, head section is the section which take care of this title and all these things, right? Only the top part. And body section is going to affect on this big area, on this big white area. Excuse me. Right, so whatever the things that you are going to insert inside this body section, you can see it on the body, and using the head section, you can change the title of your web page. So to change the title of a web page, we can use a tag called title, right? And in between that title tags, if I type something, right? So I have saved my web page as mypage.html. I'll give the title as home, right? So this is my title, right? So now I'm going to save this by using a Control S. I have saved it. And now I'm going to refresh this. Right now, look closely. This got mypage.html so far, and I'm refreshing this. There you go. Can you see it? You can see home as your title of the web page. Is that clear, people? Can I have the confirmation, please? Right. Brilliant. Okay. So now we are going to talk about the body section. And let me recap the things that we have discussed so far. So I told you this HTML document has two major tags, which are the HTML. So in between, we are going to put all other tags. So it has two major sections, which is called head and the body. So inside the head section, we can use title tags to have a title to my web page. So this home is shown over here as the title. Now inside the body section, if I type anything over here, right, I'm going to type my name, right? So this is my name. So if I just save it, I'll save it using Control S, and I'm going to refresh it over here. See, you can see my name over here, right? But not big as my Notepad has, and a different font it has. So this is going to be the default font of the browser, right? And it shows in a way that the browser has its formattings, right? So we can change this later. We can make the fonts big. We have different kinds of font colors. We can have different kinds of background colors, right? So we can do this. But just to show you, without using any tags, just by using the body tags, in between, if you write anything, still you can see those things on the web page. And there is a very special thing regarding this. Like if you change your web page or like the source code to show my name as 2 lines, like if I put Yugantha here and Laktaru here, right? So now my Notepad has 2 lines. See what is happening. I'm saving this. I'm refreshing this, right? See, it is not changing. So remember, HTML source code is not understanding the enter key by itself, right? So we have used the enter key to take this Laktaru part to its bottom, right? But this is not going to understand that. So if you want to have my name or any content as these two lines to show as a two-line one, we have to indicate, we have to inform the source code from where your line is going to break. කොතනින්ද line එක කැඩෙන්නේ කියන එක. Right? To show that, we use a tag called BR, break. And this is some special tag because this doesn't have an end tag. It's just a single tag that you have. The proper way we are going to write it. So if you just put BR, it will affect. But the proper way that we are going to write it, like after the BR, we are going to put a backslash, right? Since it is not having couple, so we are just writing it single tag, which is called BR. So this is called the line breaker, and we are putting a backslash. And you will find several different tags which is similar to that. So like a single tag, which doesn't have a couple, right? So now you can see these two lines, like you can see Yuganta in one line and Laktar in the next line because of this BR. So let me save that and let me refresh this. See, you can see it. So if you use different number of BRs over here, so each and every BR will take care of a single line break. So this will include 3 line breaks. So in between these two names, there will be 3 spaces or 3 line breaks in the page. So I save it, and here I am refreshing it. So you can see there is a break in between, right? Okay, so that is the purpose of the BR tag, right? Okay, is that clear, people, about the BR tag? Right, great. So why we use BR tag? To have a line break, right? Okay, so I'm moving to your textbook to see what are the things that they are asked us to discuss here. Here they are just introducing the things, right? And they have introduced some interface as well. I'm not going to go with that. We are like when we are like doing the text editing or like content management tools, I'm going to discuss about this, right? So as I told you, this is the structure that they are asking us to use, right? And then they are talking about the features. So in the textbook, they have talked about the P tag. I'll come to that point, the P tag, right? Seran, as you say, if you close the notepad and open it again, it opens as a txt, and the changes that you make in the notepad doesn't affect the page in the browser. Seran, like what you are asking is like, now if I close this notepad, I'm going to close this. So if I reopen it, you are saying like my web page is not going to have these effects. Is that what you're asking?
No, sir. If you open it again, like the notepad.
You mean like now my notepad is closed now? So I'm going to open the notepad from this point. Now, if I double click on this, Saran, it's going to open as a web page. So to open it as a notepad, I have to right click and I have to go to the open with, and I have to choose notepad from here, right? So if I open it, it will show you the code. If you just open the notepad from the starting button, so it's going to give you a fresh notepad. But if you want to edit the web page, you can go to this the save in place, and you can right click, go to the open with, and you can open the notepad. So so you can see the code. Is that clear, Seran?
Okay, sir, clear.
Right, great. So now I'm going to introduce you some other tags here, right? So if we want to have bigger fonts on my web page, I can use something called header tags, right? So now all these tags that I'm going to talk from here onwards, the tags that we are going to use in between these body tags, right? So when it comes to the head tags, it's only the title tag that we are using. So we can use something called header tags. Header tags are indicated by as H1, H2 until H6, right? So H1 has a couple, the starting and the end tag, and this is one of the header tags. So like this, there are header tags from H1 to H6. So H1 has the biggest size and the like from the header tags, and H6 has the lowest size, right? So if I use this H tag and if I type welcome, right? So I'm saving it. I'm going to refresh this web page. So I don't have anything called Yuganta Laktaru here now. So this should disappear. Yeah, so here it goes. So the welcome is there, right? So it is quite big, right? So likewise, if I use same tags, but I'm changing the header levels. Second one as the H2, the third one as the H3, and the fourth one as the H4, and fifth one as the H5, and the last one as H6. Right? So the same things, so the same welcome word will be formatted according to these header tags. Right? So let's see. I'm saving it and I'm going to refresh this. Yeah. Can you see that? Welcome. Welcome. So it is going into a very smaller font from the bigger font. And can you recognize there is an automatic line breaker in between these two header files? We haven't used the BR from here, but if you type an H1 and if you type the other one, the H2, these are the outputs and it has a line break in between, right? So likewise, it automatically creates line breaks on the web page. That is one of the qualities of the header tags, right? Now, in the exam paper, the most frequent question that you are going to receive is, you are given a particular output and you are asked to write the HTML code regarding that, right? Most of the time, it's going to be a fill in the blanks thing, right? So you have to look closely and identify what are the components that it can use and use the correct tags and the correct content, right? We'll do some practicals, right? So you'll get used to these things, right? So this is the way that the header tags are going to use. All right. Is that clear, people, about the header tags?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. How about others? Okay, right. Now, next I'm going to show you about the paragraph tag, right? Now, after this H6 tag, now I can use the paragraph tag using the letter P, right? Header tags use the letter H, and paragraph tag use letter P, right? And again, as the header tags, it has a closing tag as well, right? Now, if I write something, it's a paragraph. This is my second line, right? And let's see how this works, right? So paragraph here, it has 2 lines. So I'm saving it. I'm refreshing it. Yeah, can you see what has happened? So it says this is my paragraph over here, and with that, this is my second line is just over there, right? So it is not making any line breaks by default, right? So we have to use a BR in between if we need to have it for 2 lines like this, right? But it has the same quality that this header tag has. Now, if I choose, let me clear these header tags. I'll keep only one. If I use another paragraph tag over here, and I'll just say only the Apple word, right? So these are 2 paragraphs now. So in my web page, it should show welcome header and these 2 lines and this Apple word, right? Just see how it happens. So I'm going to save the notepad, and most of the time, you people are like going to refresh the web page without saving your notepad, right? ඊට පස්සේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ කලබල වෙනවා code is not working here. So it's better you use the Control S or just file and save, only save, right? Not save as, save button. Then you go and refresh the web page, right? So here I'm refreshing it. Yeah, can you see what has happened? So welcome is there. It is because of the header tags, and this is paragraph and a line break is there, and this is my second line. So those 2 are like just one after the other. Only one line break affects. මෙතනට line break එකක් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. But look at the Apple. It's a different paragraph tag, and it's typed over here, and it has 2 line breaks. අර කලින් header tag එකේ උනා වගේමයි. මෙතන second line කියන එකේ e අකුර ගාවින් you had a line break, so it comes in between this line and Apple. So then after the content types at the next line, right? So header tag works the same way, right? If I copy this again and make it H2, right? I'll take home, not home, circumference. So when your web page is, when your source code is not saved with the notepad, you can see this star mark at the left side of the name, right? If you save it, I'm pressing Control S now. Once I press the Control S, the star mark is going to go. See? So that is a good indication to check whether my notepad is being saved or not, right? So now what should happen? Welcome should be there, friend should be in the next line, and these 2 should be there, and Apple should be there, right? So let me refresh it. Yeah, can you see that? Welcome is there, and line break has affected, so it creates the empty line in between these 2. Then another line break creates, then it types different, right? So it is like, it is indicating 2 line breaks using the header tags and by the paragraph tags. Yeah, yes, it may work, Saran, right? Let me check whether it is working or not. Saran is asking whether we can have the title tag in the body, right? So I have typed it over here. So generally we are like having it in the in between head tags. I'm going to close this web page, right? So I'll double click on the web page I have created over here. So here, yeah, it is still working, Saran, right? So home is applied to the title tag in between the body tags as well. But as a good practice, we are going to go with the title in the head section, right? Okay. So yeah, you know now how to handle with a paragraph and a header tag, right? So now there are several different tags which are working like this, or like give some effects to your web page. Let's quickly go through those, right? So as you can remember, there are 3 basic buttons in the Word document, which is called bold, italic, and underline. We can have the same effect with this particular web page as well. There are 3 different tags to have that effect, right? So I'm going to show you those things, right? So let me, yeah. Let me clear this. Later we'll do some changes, right? So there are B tags. Yes, yes. Saran, both are doing the same thing. Yes, title, it doesn't matter where you are going to type it, it affects on the title. Right, so we can use B tag to have the effects of the bold. And we can use U tag to have the underline effect. And we can use I tag to have the italic effect, right? And let me have a simple word, right? I'm taking just the apple word over here, right? And mango, orange, what is it? Pineapple. Right, so apple should be in its basic format according to the browser. Mango should be in the bolded format. Orange should show you a italic format, and pineapple, I'm sorry, orange should be underlined and pineapple should be italicized, right? So let's see how the effect of these things. Here we go. Yeah. Now, can you see it is not one after the other, right? So automatic line breaking part happens in between with only 2 tags, which is the header tags and the paragraph tags. That's all. එදෙන විතරයි එකක් යට එකක් දේවල් හදාගන්නේ tag එකෙන් tag එකට. Others just show you the things, right, as a sequence. Yes, Dulage, I'll come to that. I'll come to that, Dua. Right, so see, Now, apple is the normal format, mango is the bolded format, orange is underlined, and pineapple is in its italic form, right? And if we want to apply multiple things to a one particular one, so like Dulagi asked, how to apply bold, underline, and italic on a one single tag. So it's easy, right? So here I'm using those tags, right? First I use bold, then I use italic, then I use underline. Now, as a good practice, it's better we close what we have open lately, right? That means first we are going to close underline, then we are going to close the italic, then we are going to close the bold. Right now, if I put something here, it is going to apply all these effects on a one single object, right? Now, if I put car over here in capitals, I'll save it and I'll refresh it. Here it goes. So you got car with boldface, italics, and underlined, right? So if you want to apply different kinds of applications or like different kinds of effects, you can use the tags in that manner. It doesn't mean that only bold, italic, and underline can be used as a row. You can use any of those, right? Even you can use the header tags, p tags, right? So some may not show you that anything has happened, like bold කරලා ඉවර වෙලා ඊට පස්සේ paragraph එක පාවිච්චි කරාම paragraph එක තියෙනවා කියලා පොඩ්ඩක් අපිට බලා ගන්න අමාරුයි, but it will show you the bolded one, right? So likewise there will be some places which is not very much clear whether this is applied with both the tags, but there is no limitation for you to have the tags as an order, right? Okay, and Seran, yes, Seran, it is. It always does that thing. Seran, it's good you asked that. Now, what Seran is asking, is there a space in between the words? Like after apple, is there a space between apple and mango? Is there a space between mango and orange? It is. So instead of having the line breaks, when it is showing you the different kinds of applications of the text, it put you an space by default, right? So like I can't take the cursor, but I can show you I can highlight you this space over here. See, there is a space. Right? Okay, and since you are asking about the space, I'll show you something different. I'll use a line break over here. So after the car, there is going to be a line break. And I'm going to have two line breaks. And here I'm using hello and world. So I save this and I refresh it. So you can see my two line breaks have been applied. One empty line and the other, the hello world has printed in the other line. And I'm going to increase the space in between these two, something like this. So if I save it and refresh it, can you see it is not been applied? This big empty space is not applied over here. I have saved my file. earlier as well. If I refresh this, that is not going to apply, right? So by default, in between two components, there will be only one space when you are showing things on the web page. But if you really want to have more space in between components, right? So what you can use is, you can use the code something like this, ampersand NBSP, right? Ampersand NBSP. Now I'll type it like this. So look closely. Hello word is there. Then ampersand NBSP is there. Then world is there. Right? Let me save this. And let me refresh it. See, now hello and world still have a space. According to the code, it's not showing us any space. All right, now see what happens over here. If I use several kinds of NBSPs, so I have now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 NBSPs. So I save this and I refresh it. See, now you can have several different NBSPs. So if you want to show a space in between two components, it is the ampersand NBSP that you have to use, right? So that will create more space in between the components, and you can use NBSP in anywhere you want, right? Wherever you use ampersand NBSP, it's going to create a space. All right, people, is that clear? We talk about the bold, italic, underline, and the ampersand NBSP. Okay. Seran, let's check what you are saying. You mean like you are going to use H1 tag? Seran is asking whether it will show spaces if we use H1 tag. So I take apple and then papaya. This is what you're asking, right, Seran?
Yes, sir.
Right. So let me save it. So now apple and papaya is going to act as a header tag. Let me refresh it. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, that's a good point. Now people just see all my things are being formatted as a H1. Why was that? What's the problem in the code? The problem is over here on this line. What's the problem?
You didn't close the H1 tag.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't closed my H1 tag properly. So remember, if you do not close the H1 tag properly, or like any of the tag properly, it's going to continue the same format, right? And you can see these italicizing things, and the bold, we can't see that bold, right? Underline are being affected. But since H1 is not being closed, everything is considered as an H1. Right? Again, H1 මෙතනින් පටන් අරන් විතරයි තාම මෙතනට වෙනකම්ම H1 close කරලා නැහැ. So ඒක නිසා මේ ඔක්කොම H1 කියලා හිතන්නේ. So H1 ඇතුලේ they have applied the bold one, underline one, italic one, and all these things. So I'm going to close it properly. I'm going to save it. And Seran, it's not going to work neither. It's just only one space that you have, right? So if you want to have more spaces, ampersand NBSP is the solution. Okay, moving to the textbook now. So we talk about the paragraphs, right? And we talk about the title tag as well. Yeah, I'll come to this font tag very soon, right? And yeah, let me, yeah, we talked about the header tags. I'm going to talk about the font tag now. And after the font tag, yeah, center tags and things are there. Yeah, let's come to those things. Yes. And again, we have talked about this bold, italic, and underline. And there are some other tags called EM for emphasize, something very similar to the bold. S for strike through. Sub is for superscript. Sub is for subscript, right? You can remember the superscript and subscript tools in the Word. So same happens like that. When we want to place a particular date, first we want ST as a superscript one, so we can use sub. Then sub we can use when we are writing the chemical components kind of things. And marquee is something very interesting. It allows you to make a moving text or any moving component, right? Okay, first I'll go through these things. Then after I'll come to the font and the center tag, right? So let me show you the things in the emphasize tag, right? So I'm going to clean these things for a moment. Here I'm using the emphasize tag, EM. Right, and if I use the word bus and I'm saving this, I'm refreshing this. Oh, hold on. I haven't closed the emphasize properly. But it's give me an italic one. Hold on, let me see whether anything goes wrong. Ah, yes, something went wrong. I think sometimes it is not. Yeah, I think EM is not supported with the version of the Chrome now. Yeah, Haranek kenek mokada bold in nisa EM egollo අත ඇරි අත දන්නේ නැහැ. So I have used it the correct way, but it is not being applied. Right, I'll go through the codings and see whether, right? The other one is S, superscript and subscript. Okay. Now, if I use S over here, and save it, yeah, refreshing it, you can see how the strike through has applied over here. This is how the strike through applied. So there's a bus, the word. So there is a line at the middle of that word. So strike through applies, right? And about the subscript and the superscript, now I write a little sentence regarding that. My science class which held on 24th I learned, I'll use a BR over here. I learned water gives H2O. Right, so if I save it and refresh my web page, I can see it like this. Right, so for 24th, it shows like this, but I need TH to be stay at the top of the 24, and the H2O, I need this 2 to be set on like at the bottom of the H and O, right? So to apply that, I can use the superscript and subscript, right? So what I'm going to do is, like before I begin the TH, I use SUP. Then I close SUP. Right? That will take my TH part up. And for 2, I use SUB subscript and SUB over here. And I'll put 2 on this. Right? So I have used SUP. Then after TH, then I have closed the SUP. Then SUB, then 2. Then after I close the SUB, then O. Right? So now you can see the difference. Here it goes. Yeah. Changes are being applied. So 24th shows here. H2O shows here. Right? So that is how the superscript and the subscript are being applied. All right. And now I'll show you how the marquees work. So I'm getting the tag. Did I spell it correctly? Let me see. MARQUEE. Yes. Yeah. Marquee. And here I close it. And I'm going to put Star Labs over here. Right. And I save this and I refresh it. Can you see what happens? So my Star Labs, the word is moving from right to its left. Right, so it's continuous. Right, so marquee gives us that ability. Right. Later I'll show you how to change the direction of the marquee. Like if you want to take it from right to left, you can change it. Like we can change it as I remember, we can change it from top to bottom as well. Right, so marquee helps us to move a particular component here as a text from one place, like from one end to the other end of the web page. And later you will see there is a way that we can apply a particular image onto a web page. And if we put image in between marquee tags, so that image is going to move. Right? Okay, people, is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's move to the font tag and the center tag. Right. First of all, I'll tell you about the center tag. Right. Now center tag is there. Now if we I'll clear these things for a moment. Now if I choose, or if I use a H1 tag, just the H1 tag, and saying welcome, right? We know if I save it and refresh it, you can see the welcome, and always the things are left aligned, right? And if I want to center align this, I can use the tag called center. And it doesn't matter that whether I'm using that center tag like before or after the H1, only thing I have to effect the center correctly, right? So I can use the center tag after the H1, like in between, like after this angle bracket. In that case, you have to close it after the welcome, then you are going to close the H1. Now here I have opened the center tag, then open the H1, then ask the welcome to get printed. So I have opened the center tag, it has a close tag as well. So if I save it, and if I refresh it, it's going to be at the center of the web page. Now it doesn't matter whether I have multiply, like maximize this or minimize it. It always shows as the center, right? When I'm changing the width of the web page, it keeps staying at the center. Right? Yeah, Seran. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Seran, I was about to tell that. Right now, Seran was asking how to find the errors in the HTML code. So the only way that we can recognize that there is an error is when we are not receiving the expected output, right? And later you will see we can use these content management systems or the web authoring tools to create these pages, right? On those softwares, they are giving some help for us to recognize what are the errors are. So, but it is like, unlike the programming languages, it is not always giving us the error messages like having, okay, there is an error in between, in this line, there is an error on that line. No, they are not going to say us something like that. So we can eliminate the errors by using the web authoring tools. The web authoring tools, we are not very much into the code. We are just arranging the components on the web page as we arrange the things on a Word document, right? Web authoring tools, you are given this web page. So once you type this welcome and center align it, so this particular code is automatically typed by the web authoring tool, right? So we are doing the opposite when it comes to the web authoring tool, right? So when you are onto that kind of things, the errors that you are making will be minimized, but still it can be, there can be errors. So we have to find it by ourselves why this is not going to happen, right? HTML code it's a little bit harder to find, right? You can go through Karala, but if you use like if you maintain a good practice inside the web code, text එක මේ විදිහට පිළිවෙලට දාලා හරි විදිහට ඒක වෙන් කරලා පෙන්නලා තිබ්බම it is very easy for you to recognize the particular tag, right? And there are ways that we can recognize some of the errors. Like image එකක් දානකොට image එක load වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් අපිට error එක recognize කරගන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රම තියෙනවා, but not everything, right? Seran, on that case we have to work a little hard to find the errors, right? We are not giving any error codes or any syntax errors or anything regarding the HTML, right? Okay, So now I'm going to talk about the font tag. Now in the font tag, I'm going to introduce you some new components that we can use inside a tag, right? Which is called the attributes, right? And not only the font tag, all these HTML elements has the attributes. Now attributes means the component that describes the tag further. Tag එකක් තව දුරටත් විස්තර කරන්න පුළුවන් කට්ටිය තමයි attributes කියලා කියන්නේ. So those are going to be inside the tag, inside the starting tag rather, right? So here we go. Now I'm just typing a particular word over here, right? Let me type, yeah. Right, we know how this works. And I'm taking the font tag and I'm applying it on this. Let me close it properly. So now you know Apple and Mango will be there, and as well as car and bus will be there with the effect of the font. Let me see what is happening. So I'm saving it, I'm refreshing it. See, you can't find anything different. And also after the Apple and Mango, the car and bus is there. They are not going to come as two different lines. So I'm going to put a BR. Still after the BR, I'm saving it. There is no difference in between these two. So then why something called font? It is because inside the font starting tag, I can describe the font tag further. So this has an attribute called face. Now for these attributes, I can give some values in between double quotes. Now this face attribute of the font tag. Now how the attributes are used, after the tag name, we are going to put a space. Then we are going to use the attribute name, which is called the face. Right now, face describe what is the type of the font. Now, if I say Arial, Arial is a font type. This Apple and Mango going to be like this, but car and bus is going to be formatted according to the Arial font type. Let me see. See, so now you can see there is a clear difference in between Apple and Mango and car and bus, two different font types. So face describes what is the type of the font, right? And not only the face, there is another attribute called size. And size describe the size of the font. Now, if I put 20 and I save it, I'm refreshing it, see, you can see how the size is, right? And if I give something bigger, 200, I'm saving it, refreshing it. It is not been bigger than the 20. Can you see that? Let me use something like 30. Hold on, I'll go from the smaller size. I go for the 10. I'm saving it, refreshing it. Yeah. It's not going to get any bigger. So if I give 5, save it. Yeah. So 5 is something bigger. Let's check with 6. Getting more bigger. Let's check with 7. getting bigger. I think it's not going to go beyond 7. I put 8. Yeah, after 8, it's not going to give you a bigger font. So you can use the sizes from, I think it is from 1. Let's give the 1 and see. Yeah, so 1 is something smaller. See, 1 is something smaller, right? Let me check whether I can use 0 over here. No, it's the 1. And if I give 2, it is something bigger, but not big as the apple and mango, still a little bit smaller. If I change this into 3, yeah, that gives me the matching font size with the apple and mango, right? So after that, I use 4, font is increasing. I use 5, font size is increasing. Right, so likewise, you can increase the size. Right, and as I remember, there was another attribute that they are using here. It's the color. So the color, now color can be used in several different ways. Right, I'll show you the things. Right, now here they have given 2 like color codes in 2 different ways. Like you can use the color by its name, black, yellow, red kind of things, or you can use the color by using its hexadecimal code like we use in the GIMP. Right, so let's try these 2. I'm going to take this down. And here I'm going to say, and there is no specific order for us to specify the attributes, right? The only thing we have to use the specific name for the attribute and the specific value in between the double quotes, right? Now, if I give red in here, I save it. I'm going to refresh. Yeah, you can see car and bus become red, right? And color indicates the color of the font. And I'm going to use a hex code which is provided over here. Yeah, I'll use this 00 and 4 Fs. Right, so here hash 00 double F. Right, so saving it, refreshing it. Yeah, so it has some cyan color, blue color. Right, now you can blindly type anything over here. Right, so the limit is this, any of these component can be moved from 0 to F, hexadecimal number system. So like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. So any of the things can be here. So if I give 1, 2, I'm sorry, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 12 from red, 34 from green, and 56 from blue. I save it and I refresh it. Yeah, it is not black. It's something little bit beyond the black, but it's not very much clear. Yeah, let me make this 0, 0 and see. Hold on. Yeah, now it is getting green. And if I put 6, 6, yeah, still turning into something like blue. If I put FF over here, yeah, some red color, right? So likewise, colors can be changed, but we have to find what is the color code that we want, right? How we are going to find it? Just open your browser. You should have the internet connection, and you can type the HTML color codes, right? If you go for one of these websites, so you can see. So this gives you a color picker. This shows you what's the color is, right? And if you click on these places, this shows you the hex colors, the RGB colors, and there is something called HSL. I really don't have that idea. I think it's hue, saturation, something, right? So likewise, you can find the color codes. There are many ways, right? There is a color chart as well, right? And yeah, there are many ways that you can find the color codes, right? And what you have to remember is, now this color code contains red, green, and blue RGB combination, right? So 0, 0 is the lowest. That means no red is there. And if I put another 0, 0, no green is there. So if I put FF is the highest values for blue. So my content should show something belongs to blue, right? Let's see. Yeah, so it shows you blue. And if I change it like this means no red, the green at its highest, and no blue. So it should be showing a green way. And if I put it like this, only red, no greens, no blues. I'm sorry, I haven't saved this. There you go. And if I put everything in 0, that indicates black, right? And if I put everything in F, 6 Fs, that indicates white, right? So you won't be able to see the thing because it is there. Once you select it, you can see, because the font color and the background color are same. So it is in white. You can only see it when you highlight it. So that is how these attributes are working. Face, that is for the font type. Size, it is for the size. Color, it is to indicate a color. Seran, you can use different types of font faces, right? So like the best way that you can use is, the best way you can know is just open a Word document and start a new document and see what are the fonts that you have. So all those fonts is supporting with the web page. It's okay, Seran, right? So most of these fonts, right? So like let's have this Bernard MT kind of thing. I think it's going to work. Right. I have to change the font color. Make it red. Yeah, see? This is applied. So like almost all the fonts that exist in English can be affected. Saran, types means like, I think you got the answer, right, Saran? This entire font list can be used. Like if you would, yeah, right, okay. All right, so that is regarding the font tag, right? So you can have these three attributes, which is called face, size, and the color. And now remember, attribute means what? It is a thing which describes the element or the tag, the main tag further, right? The font tag එක describe කරන එක තමයි face, size, and color කියන එකෙන් උනේ. Right? All right. What else we got? We talk about the colors, we talk about the center tag, we talk about the marquee tag, right? And yeah. So the next is talk about the edge tags here. Yeah, image tag. All right. Now, yeah, image tag, you got some things to talk about image since we are like running out of time. I'm not going to the image tag straight away. Yeah. I'll talk about the paragraph tag and its formattings. Paragraph will align, yes. Since we have talked about the paragraphs, now we know how to align something in center using the center tag, right? But we can, Diniti, I'll show you it. It is there in the book as well. Later we are going to talk about it. Diniti is asking how to change the background color of the web page. So we can, there is an attribute called BG color. Right, so there you can give any color to that. So you save it. And once you refresh it, it applies the BG color, right? Likewise, right? So that is for the background color of the web page, BG color, right? And what I need you to tell is, when you use the paragraph tag, we know what's the effect of the paragraph tag. And inside the paragraph tag, we can use an attribute called align, right? So first of all, I'll run this, I'll save it, and I'll run this. So it will show this is paragraph, this particular font over here, right? And if I say right and save it, and you can see the paragraph is right aligned now, right? So let me take something a little bit bigger to show this. I'll take this as it is. So here we go. Save it bigger. Yeah, so I'm going to get rid of these two. And now only the paragraph is there. So this paragraph will be shown over here like this. So if I don't have any alignment, so it is left aligned. As you can see, at the right end, it is not been aligned very well, but at the left end, it is been aligned, right? And if I give this line as right, and then you can see it's going to right align now. Now it is right aligned. Right is aligned, but not the left, right? And earlier there was this alignment called center, but with the updation of the browser, it's working as well with the alignment. So if you give center, this is center aligned, right? And if you can give justify over here, so once you give justify, both left and right are being aligned, right? So like this, the left is aligned as well as the right is aligned, right? So likewise, you can use the align attribute with the paragraph tag and give the alignment as left, right, center, and justify, right? So the paragraph will have the effects, right? People, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. All right, so we have discussed the things until this point, right? So next week, I'm going to talk about the image insertion. It has several different things to talk about, right? Then after we can go for the ordered list, unordered list, as well as the tables, right? So as I remember, after the tables, your HTML tags are done, right? And be prepared, people. I'm going to give you a question regarding this for you to write the code by yourself, right? So then you can try that as well. Yeah, after the yes, after the table, it's about the web authoring tool that we have to discuss. So by next week, the HTML codings can be done and prepare for the question to be done, right? So I'll give you one. So we'll continue like that, right? So within another 2 or 3 lessons, we will be able to finish up the HTML as well, right? Okay, people. So I'm going to end the session from here for today, right? I'm going to see you on next week for the very same time, right? Thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice weekend. I'm going to end the session from here, right? Okay. Right,
Thank you,
okay.
Thank you.
Right, okay, everyone. Right, okay, right, okay. Right,
Thank
okay.
you, sir.
Right, okay.